There we go. Hi, all. Welcome to the Sunday Sweat Club. Happy to have you here. We have a full house live today. So, those of you who are joining in afterwards, I hope you had or are having a beautiful Sunday. Today, I'm giving two options to start. So, option one, Shavasana, just lay down. Enjoy it. Arms out wide, palms face up. Option two, and it might take you a second to set up because we're not in a yoga studio. Grab a pillow or something, maybe it can be like a larger book. We're going to a supported bridge pose, but a really small support. So it would look maybe like this. Feet hip width distance apart, lift your hips up and just nestle maybe a pillow. If you want something more firm, maybe a book under your low back. So this is a really low bridge. And if you like, you can bring your knees together and your feet wide in this to continue to feel supported. So just take a little time to find your setup. If you're already in Shavasana, great. And then take the next few moments to get out any movement you feel you need, right? We kind of settle in. So feel free to wiggle side to side. Take a deep breath in and a gentle exhale out. Commit to staying still in whatever form of the posture you've chosen. Another breath in. Feel your belly rise up towards the sky. Gentle exhale, let it go. We'll do that 3 more times. And every time, I'd like you to imagine tension leaving your body. Inhale, deep breath. Exhale, let it go. Where can you relax? What can you release? Again, deeper, even longer breath. Maybe take an extra sip of air, fill up the lungs. Open mouth exhale. Where can you release? Maybe the space behind your eyes, your jaw, your forehead. Last time. Big breath in. Make it the biggest breath you've taken all day. Feel your lungs expand out to the sides, to the back of your body. And then open mouth exhale. Fully surrender into the pose. Close your mouth and bring your awareness to the flow of air around your nostrils. Gentle in, gentle out. If your mind starts to wander as we slow down, bring it back to the sensation of breath on your nose. What do you feel? Physically feel when you breathe in and out your nostrils. Again, if your mind has wandered elsewhere, back to the breath. Today's class is all about curiosity. So I'm going to encourage you to get curious about different feelings, sensations, and parts of your body. So, right now, just for these last few moments, how in touch can you be with that flow of breath in and out the nose? Inhale deeply. Exhale, empty. From this reclined position, start to reawaken your body, but do so mindfully. A lot of times when we hear this in class, we just kind of start to wiggle, right? So instead of just wiggling, pick parts of your body to reawaken and move them with purpose. Gradually, you can start to make these movements larger. But again, think about how you want to move before you make the movement. If you are up on a pillow or a block or a book, anything under your low back, start to make the movements big enough that you lift the hips up and then gently remove whatever's under the low back. Replace your low back down to the mat. If you are in Shavasana, start to move your body enough so you eventually bring your right foot on the ground next to your right glute, your left foot on the ground next to your left glute. Then we are all together in a bridge prep pose in just a couple more breaths. No rush. Once you've found this pseudo bridge pose, deepen your breath a bit more. If you know Ujjayi breath, the breath of fire, you can start to do that now by constricting the back of your throat. Sounds a bit like you're fogging a mirror as you inhale and exhale. If it sounds like I'm speaking gibberish, then just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Flip your palms down onto the ground. We should all be in bridge now together, hopefully. And then wiggle them down so they're right by your sides. So hands are on the ground by your sides. Push your shoulders down into the mat, kind of roll them back, and you'll feel almost your upper back start to lift. Then lift the hips high to the sky and come to a genuine bridge. Now we're just getting started, so don't do anything too crazy. This could be just an inch or two off the ground, or if you'd like to go a little higher, by all means you can. Take a breath in, push into your big toe, your pinky toe, and your heel, and lift your hips higher. Exhale, lower your hips down to the ground. Now we'll take round two. So first, press all 10 fingers down into the ground, palm extends, and inhale, lift the hips back up. Second bridge, you might want to get a little higher. If you are already gunning and ready to go for it, you can clasp the hands under your low back, but we will do one more. So maybe you just take this one as an exploratory bridge. Feel your glutes squeeze, your hamstrings engage. Lift a little higher, take one more breath in. Exhale, lower the hips back down to the ground, nice and slow, like you've got nowhere to be, nowhere to rush to. Stay low this time. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, press the fingers first, palms press down into the ground, roll the shoulders back, inhale, lift the hips. All right, so this is our first opportunity to get curious about how your bridge feels today. Our third round, let's zoom in on the spine. So maybe you close your eyes and ask yourself, are there any areas of my spine that feel tight, that feel tense? Any areas that feel relaxed? Maybe there's a spot that you find compression. If you do, can you try to lengthen through other areas of your spine so that bit doesn't feel compressed? And then, of course, we have to keep lifting the hips high, right? You're almost there. Lift a little bit higher. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower the hips down to the ground. Reach the hands towards the sky. Palms face each other. Extend through the fingers. So notice if you look at my hands, my fingers aren't together. They're separate. I want you to try to widen the fingers as far apart as you can, kind of trying to separate them, and we just start to engage, right? Then lift your right hand up like you're reaching for something, and you're going to lift your right shoulder up off the ground. Perfect. Then switch. Left. Right. And you'll notice I start to lift a little higher. Maybe I start to lean forward as I just inch up and down. extending through the fingers. 4, 3, 4, 2, because our core is about to support us throughout class. So we've got to get it a little warmer for a 1. And release down. Hands come by your sides. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift your hands high. Reach your shoulders up. So both shoulders come up this time, trying to keep the upper back off the ground entirely, and then start to reach right hand, left hand. Right hand, just like we're creeping left hand. And as you do this, you should feel it in the side body, right? You're almost side crunching as you lift, lift, lift. Almost there. 1 more. And release. Hands down by your sides. Press your palms into the ground. Breath in. And out. Draw one knee into your chest, then your other knee. No hands, so palms are nice and firm on the ground. See how tight you can pull the knees into your chest? Option 1 is to stay here and push the low back into the mat and just hold. This can be work if you're pushing the low back nice and firm. Option 2 is to start to try to straighten the legs any amount. And you might notice the knees want to creep up as we straighten, but try to keep the knees into the chest as much as you can. Point or flex through the feet. I don't care which. And automatically my legs are like, ooh, what are we doing? So you pick your level. We're pretty early on in class. So you don't have to go too nuts, but ideally I want you to try to bring your feet back as far as you can and then hold in one position for 3. Remember, the breath is our vehicle, right? For 2. And 1. Release both feet down to the ground. Breath in and out. All right, both knees come into the chest. This time, take your hands behind the thighs and we'll rock and roll up to a seat. So option 1, you can just sit up. Option 2, take a couple. These are my absolute fave. So I'm gonna take like 5 because guess what this is? A great opportunity again to check in on the spine. Notice if, rather than the spine itself, are the muscles, those big muscles on the side of your spine, do you feel any tenderness there? Any fatigue? Mine definitely do because I deadlifted like 2 days ago. Back up all the way to a comfortable seat. Find your comfortable seat. So what does that mean? That can be crisscross applesauce, feet out in front of you, whatever you'd please. All I care about is that the arms extend out to the side and the fingers tent very lightly towards the ground. Great. Take a breath in. Exhale, drop your chin towards your chest. Bring your chin over to your right shoulder. Then start to tip your head back. Open your throat towards the sky. Nice and slow. If you're beating me, slow down. Exhale over to the left shoulder. And then chin comes forward. Inhale, back up. Great. It's just a super slow neck roll. That's all we're doing. Exhale, drop your chin. Inhale, draw the chin over to the left shoulder. Again, if you're beating me, slow. Open the throat towards the sky. Tilt the head back. Chin goes over to the right shoulder. And back to center. Inhale, back up. Push your hands out in front of you, just like we did when we were on the ground. So reach the fingertips as far forward. And actually, I'm going to turn this way so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to reach the fingertips forward, but then plug the shoulders back. So my scapula will come together. So try and plug them back. Great. Inhale, reach them forward. Scapula come forward, and you might feel your belly get a little hollow. Exhale back. Inhale forward, reach. Exhale back. Last time. Inhale forward. Exhale. Plug it on back. Great. Hands come back down by your sides. This time, kick your feet around. Come to tabletop pose, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Reminder, if you need any padding on your knees, you can absolutely go for it. Today, we're going to take the spinal wave. Today, we'll be doing, you could probably guess, a lot of spine work. We're going to be working on some heart opening and back bending. So in order to prep, first, round through your spine like cat. Really tuck your tailbone. Now, instead of doing our standard kind of mindless cat and cow, we'll start first from the tailbone. So only the tailbone tilts towards the sky. Then you drop the low belly down. Then you drop the chest down, and eventually the shoulders roll back and head comes high, right? So it's a wave starting from the pelvis. Now we'll do the opposite direction. So first, tilt the pelvis only. It's really hard. Don't worry, it's super hard. Then the low back, then the mid back, upper back, and tuck the chin around through the spine. Again, because you're so good at this, start with the pelvis, tilt only the pelvis to the sky. Low belly drops, mid belly, chest, roll the shoulders back, head comes high. So mindful. Last time, tilt the tailbone first, then low back. Mid back starts to round, upper back, and try to keep the head last. Finally, the head rounds forward. Great. Inhale, back to center, long, even spine. Breath in and out. Walk your hands a handprint forward. Roll your shoulders back just like we did before and hug the triceps into the side. We'll lower down to our bellies. 3, 2, 1. Coming to baby cobra. So for baby cobra, lift yourself up and then I want you to check how much weight you have in your hands. The answer is basically none. So readjust. You can have your palms on the mat gently, but then try to hug your elbows in together. Press the tops of your feet down into the mat. Inhale, lift your shoulders and head up a little higher. Continue the little to no weight in the hands. Great. One more lift up as you inhale again. Exhale, lower down, forehead to the mat. Let's take it again because it was so gorgeous. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. This time, hands to hover. Option 1, just stay here and work on this. Option 2, reach the hands back, palms face up towards the sky. You're going to hold there because I have to let someone in. Hold the hands up as high as you can. Lift and pulse, for 3, for 2, for 1, and exhale, lower down. Hands come by your sides, palms on the ground. You can press up to tabletop. Curl the toes under, exhale, back, downward facing dog. If downward dog does not work for you for any reason, you can always hang out here in tabletop, right? Toes uncurled, breathing the same that anyone else would in downward dog. Sink the heels down. Press the hands away from you into the mat. And then if you like, you can pedal out through the feet or come to stillness and see how much you can push the hands into the mat. And you notice as you do that, the shoulders shrug towards the ears, which is 100% totally fine. Breath in and out. Inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, take a big bend in the knees and tiptoe your way up, top of the mat. What is the goal here? It's to have as much weight in your hands as possible until you eventually fold forward into Uttanasana. Take your feet hip width distance apart, grab for opposite elbows, and let's rock a ragdoll. So sway side to side, open one side of your torso, then the other. I like to bend into my left knee as I bend to the left. Bend into the right knee as I bend into the right because it's nice to be dramatic. Back to center, release your arms down to the ground. Toe heel your feet together. Inhale up, halfway lift. 2 hands to shins, maybe 2 fingers to the mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale up, halfway lift. Find that flow of breath. Exhale, fold. Last time, inhale, halfway lift, hold here. So it's a good opportunity to check in on your halfway lift. A lot of times you might see something like this. If you can, try to tilt the pelvis towards the sky while you pull the shoulders down the back. Maybe slide the hands up the shins so the tricep engages. If this is too low for you, come up here. There we go. For 3, rock your weight towards your toes. Feel your hamstrings open for 2. 1, take a big bend in your knees, super big, really big, really big. Sit down at 90 degrees, reach your hands out to the sides, and then sweep your palms all the way above the head. Press the palms together, look high. Exhale, hands to your heart, Tadasana. All right, bring your hands to your low back, fingertips point down. You can check mine out to see the setup, and then notice Elbows are not out to the side. They are hugging together just like we did on the ground. Press the heel of the hand into the low back. And then here's a secret about back bending. A lot of people are like, oh, we're going to dump into our low back. Your core is actually going to lift up and over. So as you press into the heel of the hands, imagine you're lifting up, up, up. Pull your core in and take a baby gaze to the ceiling. We're not going too crazy yet. Keep the elbows hugging in. Look at your gorgeous ceiling for 3. Press into your feet to get nice and tall for 2. And 1, release your hands by your sides, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the hands high, press the palms above the head. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, option to step back to plank or tabletop. Reminder, you can always skip the chaturangas or come with me. Hug the elbows in, lower down nice and slow because I love 2, 3, 2, 1. All right, now that we're back down to the mat, inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Exhale, sweep the hands back, palms towards the ceiling. Inhale, lift higher, reach the hands higher. Exhale, lower the hands down by your sides first, then the forehead down to the mat. Press up, plank or tabletop. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Again, the reminder, down dog's too much, come to tabletop and you'll breathe here. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend in the knees and tiptoe, 1 big toe at a time. You could try to only be on your big toe if you want an added challenge, all the way, top of the mat, and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hold here. Again, rock your weight towards your toes so you feel the hamstrings open. Exhale. Inhale, hands to your hips. Sit your butt back and come to standing. Hands by your sides. Groovy, Tadasana. Breath in. And out. Inhale, sweep the hands high, finding our rhythm, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. All right, I'm about to do something wild that just popped into my head, so we're gonna try it. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Okay, we're gonna build off of this for a little bit. There's a few things we need to do. So first, sweep your hands down and back. Press the fingertips into the low back, just like we had before, right? Hug the elbows together. I feel like this shirt doesn't work because you're not gonna be able to see my abs. Okay, so try and look at my torso as we do this here. You're going to press the hands into the low back, hug the shoulders and elbows together, then try to bend through the low to mid back. You can see we get a little bit more space, gaze high, stay low in your chair. It's a chair back bend. Do you like this better or worse than regular chair? It's all good, right? So, those are just silly things we assign to sensations. Take 1 more breath in. Exhale, take the bend out of the back, slide your hands down your glutes, your hamstrings, down your calves, and fold forward. That wasn't the crazy thing, by the way. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit your butt back, chair pose. This time, bring your hands to heart center. We've done this before. Remember the clasp of the fist? Great. So find that clasp of the fist, get nice and low in your chair. Look down at your left foot. If you can't see it, that's fine. Imagine you can see your left foot. And then come to balance just with your right heel up off the mat. Hug your knees together so you've got 1 strong leg. Maybe you can lift the foot back. Great, gorgeous. Now look at what I did. I crept up super high. So I'm gonna sink back down here. Maybe I'm here with the big toe, right? We're just playing with balance. That leg's on fire. 2, 1, back to chair. This is hard. I feel it too. Now shift your weight over. Take a look at your right foot. Shift, shift, shift. Maybe big toe. Maybe foot extends towards the butt. And then you sink it lower and we hold for 3, 2. Remember, the more you squeeze your hands, the stronger you are in the legs. 1, both feet down. Inhale, come up to standing. Reach the hands high and press the palms together. Look at your thumbs. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank or tabletop. Reminder, always option to skip these otherwise. 3, 2, 1. Coming down with me. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Hold here. Exhale, sweep the hands back, lift them higher. Inhale up, a little bit more. Exhale, you'll plant the hands first, then lower the forehead down to the mat. Curl the toes under. Press up plank or tabletop. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Breath in. And a breath out. Maybe open mouth just because it feels good to let things go, right? Inhale, look forward. Exhale, tip, toe, tip, toe, top of the mat, and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. We haven't done the crazy thing yet, by the way. We're building. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take the arms wide. Press up, look high, palms together. And exhale, come right through heart center, all the way down. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Now we're gonna do it, because you can. All right, hands come together, find the fist. First, we have the fist, neutral spine, right? Neutral spine on our chair pose. Hug your legs together nice and strong. Shift your weight over into your left foot. Right big toe is a kickstand. I'm gonna give 2 options. Option 1, you're just going to tip, 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 back until you get to crescent pose. Option 2, first you'll hug the foot up, then you'll tick-tock forward. Then you'll reach the foot back and step back as slow as you can. See, look at 2 different ways to get to crescent pose. We'll all meet here together. Find your journey. Once you're in crescent, pull your left hip back in space. You see that big adjustment? Pull the left hip back in space so both of the hips are even. Then you can sink it down a little bit lower. Inhale the hands high. Exhale, sweep them down to your low back. So again, this idea of back bending, right? This pose is nice because we're already kind of in a little bit of a back bend. When I ask you to bend backwards, I'm asking you to move up with your chest and over. In order to do that, you're engaging your abs. Yes, I'm going to talk longer because we're going to hold this pose for longer. Press your hands into your low back, hug the elbows together. Now inhale, try to reach your chest to the sky and start to take your gaze up. So we've got a little back bend. Now, one of the things that tend to happen is when we bend backwards, we forget about the bend in the legs. So can you sink back deeper into that front leg? Breath in and out. Another breath in. Exhale, hands sweep down, and then biceps by the ears. Take a little bit of the back bend out. Exhale, hands frame the foot. Option 1, just step back to tabletop or down dog. Option 2, we press the hands first, right? Then try to lift the foot. Step back, down dog. Breath in and out. You can come or you can stay in down dog or child's pose as a resting posture. Move forward to plank. Exhale, lower down. 3, 2, 1. Our cobra variation, whether you hate it or love it. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sweep the hands back, palms to the sky. Inhale, lift higher. Exhale, hands come by your sides. Lower your forehead down. Curl the toes under, press up, back, and we'll all meet in downward dog. Inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, big bend, and then tiptoe your way, top of the mat, and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take your arms wide, bend in your knees, press up all the way, palms high. Exhale, hands to heart center, palms by your sides, Tadasana. Breath in. And a breath out. For a moment, before we do one side versus the other, I'd like you to do a body scan. Do you feel different on one side of your body? I definitely kind of do. Something weird in my hip flexors. But check and see if you can feel some of the change that we've already created. Blink your eyes open. Inhale, sweep the hands high, palms together. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit your butt back, chair pose. Yeah, we did one side, so you're already ready for this other side, right? You know where you're going. So first, like I like to do, envision it first, right? If you remember, we shift our weight over into the right foot. Option 1 will be to slowly step back with the left and come to crescent. Option 2, and maybe you're envisioning it or moving now, foot to butt, then lean, move through your warrior 3 and step nice and slow all the way to crescent pose. And then we meet here together. So set your crescent up, just like I did on the other side. Notice my hips, pull the right hip back in space, right? Yeah, we recalibrate so they're both pointing forward, then sink the hips down. Inhale, hands come towards the sky. Exhale, sweep the hands, fingertips to the low back. Remember, fingertips point down, hug the elbows together. So you can stay just like this with your chin tucked. Otherwise, start to sink down in the front leg. Push the heel of the hand down into the low back. Rise your chest towards the ceiling, up and over that imaginary bar, and then gaze high. So, as you do this, ask yourself how you feel. And maybe something might jump to mind right away, but I always feel that back bends in particular, especially if we're doing strength work in the lower body, can bring things to the front of your mind. You can have a different sensation. So just be aware of it without judgment. And then try to breathe through whatever you're feeling. Almost there, sink lower into the front knee. 2, 1. Hands come down. Inhale, sweep them high. Exhale, hands frame the foot. Bend in the knee. Option 1, just step back to down dog or tabletop. Option 2, press into the hands. Try to lift the foot first and then step yourself back. Downward facing dog. Breath in. And out. Inhale forward. We'll all come down to our belly this time because we're going to do more than just the work on the up dog. Lower down. 3, 2, 1. And we're all down to the beautiful mat. Great. Now, walk your hands forward. Come to Sphinx pose in your upper body. So palms will be face out. Notice I'm a little bit more than a 90-degree bend. And start to pull the hands towards you as you bring your chest through your biceps. So it's a really subtle movement, but as you do this pull, you'll notice, look, if you look at my upper back, you'll notice it's really little when we start to bend from the upper back. Another challenge we have with back bends is that we tend to situate it in the low back because for women, that's definitely the easiest part for us to bend, right? That part of our spine. So imagine the upper back bending as you pull. One more breath in. And exhale, release down to the ground. Bring your hands together, make a diamond with your hands or simply put them on one another, and then rest your forehead to the top of your hands. Bend into your right knee and flex your foot. So we'll have about a 90-degree bend into the knee. And now try to lift the knee up off of the mat as high as you can get it while keeping the 90-degree bend. And I know you can't see yourself, so it's kind of hard to find yourself in space, right? But imagine you've got the foot standing on the ceiling. Reach and press into that left foot to help you lift. 3, 2, 1. Release the right knee down to the ground. Extend the right foot. Left foot. Here we go. Bend and flex into the foot and the knee. Forehead stays on the hands. Take a breath in. Exhale. Inhale, lift the foot towards the sky. So we've got that 90-degree bend, and try, if you can, to situate this work more in your glute than it is in your low back. So if you really feel your low back firing, you might even put your head down to the mat and off the hands to try to take that out of the equation a little bit more. So lift higher, 2, and 1. Release the knee down to the mat. Breath in. And the breath out. Hands come by your sides. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. No rush. I know we're coming out of fully laying down. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up either plank or tabletop, up to you. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Breath in and out. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, you know where we're going. We're tiptoeing. If you really want to hop and you're craving it, I'll give you permission to hop. Once you're there, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit your butt back. Take your arms wide. Come up to standing. Press your hands above your head. Look high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana. And close your eyes. Bring your left hand to your heart. Your right hand to your low belly. See if you can zoom in on the sensation of your heart beating, maybe in one hand, and the sensation of your breath in the other. Blink your eyes back open, hands come by your sides. Tadasana. Breath in. And a breath out. I think now is our opportunity for our toe cars. So if your toe hurts, maybe you just watch this one and record for later. So take a look down at your feet. Stare at your feet and lift your toes up. Try to spread them out as wide as you can and then replace them back down onto the ground. Now, everybody's favorite, right? Your fingers might kind of move as you're trying to think about this. Lift your big toes up off the mat. Keep all the rest of the toes down. Nice. All right. Big toes down, rest of the toes lift. Okay, pretty challenging. Let's do it again. All the toes down, big toes up. I should say 4 toes. Big toes down, rest of the toes up. Nice, we're getting in a rhythm now, right? 8 toes down, big toes up. There we go. Okay, now put all your toes down on the mat. Lift all your toes up. Put your big toes down on the mat. Now try to leave the rest of your toes up except for your pinky toe. Can you put only your pinky toe and your big toe on the mat? Hold and squeeze. This is super hard. 3. Lift those middle toes too. 1. And release. Great. All 10 toes. Our feet are prepared to balance us now as we move on to this bit of a balancing sequence. So come to the top of your mat. Big toes touch. Hands by your sides. Shift your weight over into your right foot. Breath in. Kickstand and come to just the big toe with the heel lifted. Option 1, to stay here. Option 2, bend in the knee, kick the foot towards the butt. Maybe the foot's pointed and you should feel your hamstrings start to be like, hello. Great. If it's doing that, that's awesome. Now we're all going to step back towards crescent, but let's do so either with a couple steps or inhale forward. Oop, I'm gonna fall over. I got it. Keep the foot towards the butt as long as you can. Then exhale, straighten the leg, step back, crescent pose. Hands to your hips this time. Pull your right hip back in space, left hip forward, and try to drag this left thigh forward so you feel the engagement in your lower body first, right? Totally fired up. It's there. Hands come to the low back. Option 1, same thing we did before. Option 2, you can take a clasp of the hands, slide the hands down your left leg, and maybe back bend towards the sky. Remember, there's always crazy places to go. But whatever you do, advocate for your own mind and body. So find your breath, find your expression of the posture. And then remember, this is also supposed to be fun. So how can you play with this pose? For 2, for 1. Inhale up to center. If you have the hands in the low back, you can keep them there. If you've got the clasp, you can keep the clasp. Spin the back foot down. Look forward, and we'll take humble warrior. So try to bring your right shoulder to the inside of your right knee. Fold forward, maybe the hands come above the head.
And then last but not least, we're breathing. Imagine a big bucket of water pouring on the back of your neck and dripping off the top of your head. Your head is so heavy. For two, one, power up, reach up, slide the hands forward, lift the back heel, come back to crescent pose. You did it. We're almost out of here. Yes. Okay, option one is just to step to the top of the mat. Option two, bend into the back knee. Draw the left knee up into the chest, come to standing. Hands by your sides, Tadasana. Whew. Breath in and out. Another breath in and out. All right, shift our weight over into the left leg. Option one, we kickstand right with this foot and stay here. Option two, point the toe and try to get the foot as close as it can to the butt. And if your hamstring goes, ah, that's good. Any cramping means we're moving into new ranges of motion, so it's okay. You can squeeze a little tighter. If it cramps, just come out, come back in. You know the drill. Okay, take a breath in. And we'll all start to move back to crescent, whether that's multiple steps or you tick-tock forward, reach your hands back, reach the foot back, and move through into crescent. Inhale, hands to the hips. Okay, pull the left hip back in space. Then start to drag that right hip forward. And you should feel an inner thigh fire up. That back leg starts to fire up as you genuinely pull that back foot forward. So we have our foundation, right? Like with anything we do in life, we need a strong foundation. Then sweep the hands back. Option one, here. Option two, clasp the hands. Roll the shoulders back. Remember, we're lifting up and over. We're engaging our core as we lean back. Maybe you slide the hand down the back leg, gaze high. Wherever you are, start to see if you're creeping up. Sink down in the front leg. And then we breathe, right? Admittedly, it is very hard to breathe and talk in this pose. So I'm going to try to lengthen my breath in both the front of my chest and the sides in this back bend. See if you can do the same thing. Wider breath in the diaphragm. For two, one, inhale, back to center. Keep your hands where they are. Spin the back foot down. Pull the left hip back in space. Sink down in the front knee. And then come to humble warrior, left shoulder to the inside of the left knee. Hands might come up and over the head. Ideally, we're keeping the heel of the hands together as we straighten through the arms and lean forward. And then imagine that bucket of water on the back of your neck, the back of your head, pouring off the top of your head. Drip, 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 because the head is nice and heavy. For three. Relax your jaw, relax your face. Two. One. Inhale. Come on up. Just release those hands. Sweep them high. Exhale, spin the back knee off the mat, bend into the front knee. Option one, just stand at the top of the mat. Option two, we start to bend, 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 step forward, draw the right knee into the chest, and then exhale. Feet together, Tadasana. Left hand to the heart, right hand to the low belly. Close your eyes. Feel your breath and your heartbeat. When we get curious about things like sensations in our body or our thoughts or the way that we move, curiosity really means to observe something without judgment, right? So if you find yourself placing labels on how you feel, labels on how you believe you're performing, come back to curiosity. Just want to see what happens. No good, no bad, just is. Breath in And breath out. Release your hands by your sides, Tadasana. All right. Couple more poses. One more standing pose, and we're laying down. I promise it. And we're gonna make this one easy. I just feel like we need to open the hips a little bit, right? We've been moving in a really linear pathway. So bring your feet together, hands out to the side. Then take a big sweeping step with your left leg all the way to the back of your mat and come to warrior two. See how we did that? Bend into the front knee, reach your hands out. Actually, keep your hands on your legs. I'd like some biofeedback. So look down at your right thigh. You can try to roll your right thigh outwards, right? External rotation of the thigh. Look down at your left thigh. Try to roll your left thigh outwards. External rotation. This is something we don't think about in Warrior Two a lot, right? This base, what are our legs doing? They're externally rotating. Then you sink down. Now, bring the hands out. Take a look at that right knee. If it started to fall in, push the knee out with the strength of your body. Continue to imagine this external rotation in the legs, straighten through the back leg. Inhale, reverse the warrior, look high. Exhale back, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, bring the right elbow to the knee or maybe the hand down to the ground. Sweep the left hand and come to extended side angle. So notice we got one long line of energy from the fingertips all the way to the back heel. If you are here and your shoulder is shrugging towards your ear, push the shoulder away from the ear. Great. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, power up through your legs, and then inhale back up, warrior two. Straighten through the front leg. Look forward. We're going to just step our feet together at the top of the mat. So you might need to wiggle the back foot, and then when you can, just try to sweep it back around. Come to standing. No real graceful way to do that, right? Hands by your sides. Tadasana. Breath in. And out. All right, this time we take our right leg. I hope I'm correct because I spun around. Right leg, sweep it to the back of the mat. Come to our warrior two. No too fancy way to do that. Then hands come to the thighs. Physically, you can take them and roll them outwards if you like. This is our external rotation of both the thighs, right? Setting up the base for our really nice warrior two. Roll, roll, roll. Then sink down into the hips straight through the back leg. Now try to keep that same roll that your hands are encouraging. Reach the hands out. Take a look down at the left knee. If it started to fall in, push that bad boy out. Sink in lower. Great. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Look up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, start to lean forward. Exhale, maybe bring the elbow to the knee or the hand to the ground and sweep your right hand around in a big sweeping motion. And we've got one long line of energy from the fingertips all the way to the foot. Gorgeous. Now, big breath in. Push the hand into the ground or the elbow into the knee so the shoulder stays away from the ear. Exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, power up, and then come up. Warrior two. Gorgeous. Look forward. Maybe wiggle the back foot slightly and step one big or 10 big steps. It depends. Sometimes you need more steps to get to the front. Both feet together. Tadasana. Inhale. Exhale. All right. Our final pose today. Our final peak pose, and then we're laying down. So with that in mind, we're going to play with different variations of dancer today. As you know, I often like to do a dancer with no hands. So I think that that's what we're going to try just because I like you to feel the engagement. So many different levels. Shift your weight over into your right leg. Option one, you'll sweep, let's see, the right hand high. And this will be your dancer. Option two, You'll play here, right? From here to here. Option 2, you'll lift the foot, start to tick-tock forward. This will be your dancer. Then you can start to reach the hand, but don't touch the foot. Mm, mm, mm. How high can you get it? Hold. Imagine you're going to grab your foot, but you're not because you're too cool for that. Lift higher. If you fall out, come back in. Try to remain still as a statue. Then, no matter where you are, shift your hands. Opposite hand comes forward, opposite hand comes back. I know, we're getting crazy. Keep the foot high, lift the foot higher. 3, 2, squeeze through the glute. 1, inhale. Come to standing, hands by your sides, Tadasana. I can't see you, but I guarantee you made that look very easy. Breath in and out. So let's switch. Opposite foot, shift your weight over into your left leg. Right foot comes up. Option 1, the left hand will be high. You start to lean and just play with this, right? Option 2, bring the foot towards the butt. Start to lift the foot first, and then you lean forward with the hand staying back glued on this thigh to start. Then eventually, hand might reach back towards the foot, but we're not going to connect with the foot. Why? Probably because you're like, because Madison, it's harder work. Because it kind of is, right? When we have to use the strength of our own body to create this pose versus taking the bind and kicking, we use our own strength. Now switch the hands because we're wild children, and try to lift a little bit more through the foot, lift through the chest, hold, breathe. You're almost there. 3, 2, and 1. Come to standing, Tadasana, shake it up. Maybe sway side to side. There's no proper or improper way to shake. Breath in and out. Hands by your sides, Tadasana. Blink your eyes open. I'm going to give, as always, 2 options. Option 1, are you ready for this? We're not like totally sleeping yet, but option 1 is lay down. Option 2, you can move with me to lay down through a yogi squat. So you can come to a yogi squat, sit your butt back, brings your hands forward, butt back, hands forward, butt back, hands forward, and then eventually come to a seat all the way through Navasana and lay down. See there how there's a million different ways to get to the same place? We all did something different, but we got here. And I think that's the beauty of life, right? There's no one way to do anything. All right, I know the Shavasana feels good, but we've got to do a tiny bit more, just stretching here. So draw your right knee into your chest, hands come around the shin, and then take a twist, knee comes over to the left, arms out to a T, gaze over to the right. And then imagine your body like a towel. Where you inhale, the towel gets longer. And exhale, you twist, rinse, and wring. Everything in the spine, everything in the upper low back that might feel tight. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more. Inhale. Lengthen. Exhale, twist, surrender, and let go. Any tension you have in the glute, the jaw, the forehead. And then slowly move back through center. Place your right foot on the mat and even out the hips so the left foot can come to meet the right in that bridge pose that we started class. Once you feel even-ish, right foot extends, left knee into the chest. Inhale. And exhale, take the twist over opposite side. So take a moment of curiosity to notice the difference maybe between one side and the other. Because every side is different. And then inhale, envision yourself lengthening from the crown of your head all the way to your right big toe. Exhale, twist and surrender through the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. If your eyes are closed, blink them back open briefly and move your way through center. So left knee will come in. And then place both feet on the ground, your bridge pose prep. So another nice opportunity to take a look at the spine, right? If you're feeling any pain in your low back, it might mean that instead of lifting up and over with the core, we were bending through our hinge point, right? So I used to have a lot of that pain when I was younger and first started practicing because I had really deep back bends, but I wasn't back bending properly. So if you do have low back pain or even just after standard back bending, a great way to counteract, and don't get mad at me, great way to counteract is to actually do a tiny bit of core work. So press your low back down into the mat. Feel your low back press. Draw your belly button in. And then just inhale, lift your shoulders and head and arms forward slightly. This isn't anything crazy, but I want you to feel to press the low back and to engage through your abdominal muscles just to counteract for 3. Push the low back down, 2. And 1. Release head, shoulders, everything down to the mat. Let's move to a happy baby. Hands can come to the thighs, to the outside of the calves, to the feet, to the big toes. This is your party. I'm just here for it. So you choose. And then ask yourself if you want movement in your happy baby or stillness, and take whatever you'd prefer. Maybe it's a little of both. And then if there are any other postures you would like to do to end class, by all means, you can take them now. If your body is just calling for something, you know your body better than me, so go for it. If you feel like your practice is complete, set up for Shavasana. A couple different options for Shavasana today. You can have the feet extended. If you're still feeling like, oh, that was more back bending than you felt comfortable with, you can put a pillow underneath your thighs, right? So your knees are bent. Or you can just take recovery pose with knees together, feet out, and palms face up. Then roll the shoulders back. And actually, as you roll the shoulders back, see if you can lift your upper back, slide your shoulder blades down your back, and then replace your back down on the ground, just so you have a little bit more space in that upper spine as well. If you are taking other poses, take about 4 more breaths and come meet us in Shavasana. Option in Shavasana to have the hands out wide to the side, or maybe you really like the biofeedback of having the left hand to the heart, the right hand to the low belly. Feel the warmth of your hands on your torso if you're choosing that. Breath in. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Again, breath in. Open mouth, exhale. last time, and with it, release any tension you might have left. Inhale, open mouth, exhale, let it go. Surrender fully into whatever your Shavasana may look like today. We often give ourselves time in class to be curious, right? To be curious about our mind and our body. But when we step off the mat and into real life, it becomes a bit more challenging to be curious. When we're at work or with friends, with family, how often do we check in with ourselves? And ask, how do I feel in this moment? Without judgment, without labels of good or bad. What would happen if we brought more curiosity into our lives? Not just about ourselves, but about others as well. You are welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you like. Or if you are ready to move out of the practice, you can come with me and begin with just a full inhale and exhale. Just like we started class,
Can you reawaken your body with purposeful movement? Choosing what and where to move first. And then gradually making your movements larger and larger. Eventually, you will roll over onto your right side, using your right arm as a pillow. And take just a moment in fetal pose, our posture of rebirth and renewal, to find gratitude for yourself, for the awesome human you are, for showing up to a class on a Sunday, for advocating for your body and mind, and for being open to curiosity. When you feel ready, you press yourself up to a comfortable seat, still feeling that gratitude that you have to yourself. And then bring two hands over your heart, or maybe two palms together at heart center, thumbs pressed to your sternum. Take a breath in. And a breath out. And close your mouth. Maybe put a smile on your face. Thank you all for joining me this Sunday. Namaste.